Unread, Tommy.
All right, so let me pull this up. Let me just show my screen here. So can you see that, Emilio?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So like I said, like I was telling you, I think just have you kind of talk through this, and then we'll kind of go from there with questions and things like that. So if you want to go ahead.
All right. Well, I sent out an email last night about my 90-day action plan. So here it is. Here's an introduction, fellas. Following presentation is a 90-day action plan I feel will be appropriate for our team and new hires in the upcoming months. With all the struggles our team has been facing, really focusing on our daily struggles and the reason behind these struggles, we can finally be one of the top tier teams here at Vivint. I have no doubt we can make it there. It just takes time, dedication, first as an individual and second as a team. I do know together we can all achieve greatness, but to start as a whole, we need to identify and conquer our individual weaknesses. Metrics are a high priority to every SHP, FSM, and RM, being the main fact that it shows what we achieve and what we lack. I'm starting with the team metrics because I believe this is what the big picture is when training a new hire. The following are just examples of our previous metrics, and I will go into detail on what I will be focusing on while I'm not training any new hires, which, I mean, I'm going to probably have a lot of time on my hands after I get everyone 100%. So I put a little metric diagram in here, and it's dated from Wednesday that Joe sent out. It's not the most recent one because then I'll have to, do a lot of changes, but just to give you an idea of what I want to do. I'm going to first start with our DIR, which is our daily install rate. It seems to be rising by the day. Luis and Julio have taken some big hits, but the rest of the team seems to be on point. Continue to make pre-calls days before will remain daily routine to avoid no-shows, reschedules, and any kind of confusion as to why the install will not go online. Not to include ticket notes will also be a main priority here. Second would be the NPS. Now, this one is dated Wednesday. Since Wednesday, I think we've been showing huge improvement to our NPS. But for this one, it's taken a huge hit in the past 30 days. I feel right along to show each SHP how to get a happy customer and resolve every problem on the service ticket will bring these numbers up drastically. There's a lot of miscommunication happening, causing the customer to A, not wanting to leave high score for the technician, or B, not understanding what the survey is strictly for the technician, rather than generalizing the survey to their whole experience. By changing the way we word things and present information will be crucial for these numbers, leaving the customer with nothing but world-class service and smile. So next is our SOS 30. By digging into each return ticket and coaching with the SHP, I believe this will show huge improvement to our SOS numbers. We must be examining the entire system at each service call. Just because a service ticket is for one particular problem does not mean this is all we fix. By inspecting each piece of equipment, we will reduce the risk of return trips and therefore lower our SOS numbers. Next is our SIM 30. We have 5 SHPs currently with the Wednesday model that are at 0% for SIM 30. Bryce, Rudy, Luis, Corey, and myself. We need to make sure customers are getting offered every piece of equipment when we're doing our walkthrough, making sure there are no questions left after the install. If these return trips are due to something the SHP did incorrectly while installing the system, these individuals may need additional training in certain areas to be able to provide our customers world-class service. Excuse me. Our UVI, we seem to be doing pretty well with everyone upgrading on installs, except for 2 pros, Corey and David. Corey usually does well with upgrades. David is fairly new to notice any kind of pattern. Either way, I want to continue having SHPs to excel in this area to keep pushing information, to keep educating the team on how to upgrade and offer equipment to customers. One example would be Micah doing the presentation on how to upgrade customers at our last team meeting. Keeping everybody involved and comfortable are the main keys I want to focus on. Before I go into my 30-day plan, did y'all have any questions on that, or you just want me to keep going?
No, I actually did. So I don't see accounts per pro on here. So did you forget that one, or was that a separate? I mean, because that's about
yeah,
leads, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I cut it off at the on the on the diagram to fit it in. But yeah, I was going to bring that up too. I wanted to actually just talk about that. I didn't implement it into here.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, I left that out. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
No worries. I'm just asking.
But yeah, honestly, but to bring you more in focus on that, what I'll be doing with our leads will be I'm going to be getting in contact with FSNs from Dallas and Houston, and also I want to get in contact with Manny, some other team trainers, just to see exactly how they're executing their displays and just get more information on that. And I will be sending emails out today for that. So first is my 30-day action plan. To begin, I want to take advantage of all information provided for me to make sure each SHP gets trained to the best of my abilities. Get as much hands-on for the new hire as I possibly can, you know, in the field and off the field, whatever it is. Set individual goals and expectations that can be met daily and weekly. Consistency is the key here. Checking in daily and weekly with each individual, making sure we stick to the executed plan. Coaching will be a main focus as well to make sure everyone is on the same page and doing the same thing. Make sure every SHP and new hires carry and use all the required tools, phone numbers, flowchart, information needed for all like diverse service tickets and installs. Make sure all trainings in Vivint University are in full effect, full engaged, I mean just 100% on that. Keeping in contact daily with each new hire I train as needed to focus on daily practices and safety emails that Vivint sends out. In other words, getting information to each individual, making sure they understand the SOPs, weekly metric emails, and driver safety letters and so forth. The next goal is for me to ensure that I, Emilio, will be attached to the FP1 manual and all the responsibilities it holds, along with making sure everyone on our team is kept up to date on any changes. Another huge goal I'll set for myself will be implement daily and weekly, and I bold this, recap and survey emails at every opportunity given. This is a huge learning tactic and will be part of my daily routine to make sure no learning opportunity gets wasted. Complete all training courses related to the team trainer position. Now, to sum up my 30-day plan of action, I'll be sure to keep in contact with fellow team trainers and FSMs to stay focused on the big picture that Vivint represents. I will be involved with everything and anything that, and it says FSP here, and I think I was just reverting back to my old days. But I'm actually talking about the manager. It feels important for the team and each individual. This includes organizing webinars, team meetings, and team functions. I will bring my hardworking and dedicated experience in coaching and show each new hire that every single situation has a solution and that benefits us and the customer. Now, next I'm going to move on to my 60-day action plan. I will identify and address the individual's areas in which they struggle and areas they excel in. Continue to focus on positive goals, check the progress with each new hire, and check the performance over the past month in comparison to the goals we have set. I will maintain my knowledge of the FP1 manual and continue to deliver expectations and healthy work habits to the SHPs. Learn to implement and recap survey emails, turning them into a learning experience and good practices for our team to strive on. Keeping good communication skills with everybody on the team while coaching at every opportunity given. And this is important for the 60 action plan, is to complete all trainings in Vivint University for the new hire, because we need to complete those obviously by the 60 days. Show the team how we improved overall from the daily workflow to metric numbers. Now next is my 90-day action plan. So I want to keep the same consistency of the work habits, so I'll continue to show any form of improvement from our daily workflow to metric numbers, even if it's the smallest thing like cleaning the work truck out daily. You know, every improvement is crucial. I'm going to continue to find areas pro struggles with and areas they excel at, because there's always room for improvement. I'll be checking the performance and reevaluate team and individual goals if they have not been met. Continue to stay updated with the FP1 manual. Assist FSM with SHP audits, inventory management, and ride-alongs. And last for this 90-day, I want to stay sharp with my job knowledge and going out in the field as much as I possibly can. Now, to conclude this 90-day action plan, I believe by staying on top of this 90-day action plan, our new hires and current SHPs will be more versed and knowledgeable in their daily workflow. This will allow our metrics to go up, great survey responses on our NPS, daily install rates to be 100% and return tickets limited, if not any. With many things out of our control, I feel that we have required tools and education our new hires and current SHPs will maintain a healthy, positive work experience here at Vivint. And time.
Okay. Well, thanks for putting that together and going through that and kind of digging into it. It's, there are some pretty good details in there, kind of what you want to do and implement and, how you want to go about it. So I appreciate you putting that together and having thoughts and taking the time to go through all that again. I'm going to go start going through some of my questions here that I have.
Okay.
And then Tommy will go, and then if you have any questions, then we'll ask you, and we'll just kind of go through this here. So,
okay.
My first question this morning is, why do you want to be in leadership?
Well, I want to be in leadership, first of all, like I explained earlier, to improve myself and to actually make Vivint the last job I ever had, so I want to keep on going. And I also want to bring the team a lot closer together. I mean, I feel we kind of drifted a ways in the past, this whole year, just because a lot of changes going on. So I just want to keep the Vivint family close from when I originally started. I mean, that's what brought me here, was everyone being so close and being family. So I want to take the next step for Vivint on. I want to do good for my team.
Okay, so talk a little bit about that, I guess, when you said people are drifting away. What do you mean by that, and how would you...
Drifting away, I mean, I want to be more, I guess, like, for an example, on Zinc, there hasn't, before the past 2 months, there hasn't really been much talk or much communication. So I say drifting away in that, I guess, in our communication skills. For instance, like yesterday, Corey had that ticket he was stuck at. So if he wasn't staying communicated with our Zinc, he would have never known, change the battery or get advice from anybody else besides just him being there on that install by himself or that service ticket by himself. So I guess I want to not use drifting away. Just I want everyone who hasn't been more involved as they should. So I'm gonna just bring everyone more together.
Okay.
Staying on top of the same subject.
Okay. And I guess how would you bring people more together?
By staying positive and focusing on the big picture of taking care of our customers, make sure they're happy. I mean, if you don't leave a job or an install with a happy customer, I mean, you're doing something wrong. And I want to implement that more in everyone's daily routine. It's not just about showing up to work and doing your job. It's a little bit more than that.
Okay. All right. One second here, because I'm trying to take some notes here too. So.
No, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, give me.
I got nowhere to be.
All right, 1 second here. All right. What's the difference between a leader and a manager?
Honestly, the difference between a leader and a manager is just a role title, because I feel a leader is a manager, and they should both be focused on the same goal, which is taking care of our customers, taking care of our team most of all. So to tell you the truth, Joe, I don't really see a huge difference, because I mean, a leader can come from anybody from starting at the as a SHP level. You can be a leader. You can be, I guess, just be positive and just show people that happiness is a success, and it's a huge key here. I don't see any difference between those two besides manager just having the main last call.
Okay. All right.
I hope that answers your question.
Well, hey, I mean, it's your answer.
Yes, sir. Sometimes I just don't know how to get it out there.
Okay. Okay. Um, tell me one personal thing you know about each one of your teammates.
About one of my teammates?
Mm-hmm.
I'll start with Rudy. Rudy. One personal thing I know about Rudy is he loves his family and he will do whatever it takes, to provide for them and to make them happy. So, and I kind of see that with him, with his role too, in being a squad leader. So he may be a little late to some scenarios, as in like not checking on time or just being caught up in the service ticket. But one personal thing I know about Rudy is he'll do whatever it takes to make sure everybody stays on top of everything and stays focused on the main goal.
Okay. That's one of 13.
Okay. Well, let's go. So I'll go with Michael now.
Okay.
One thing that I do know about Michael is he is very smart and there's no stopping him when he's in the right sense of mind. So I guess one thing I know about him is he will always be there to answer a phone call or to help me out on a personal level.
Okay.
With Bryce, I'll go next with Bryce. So one thing I know about Bryce too is, well, there's a lot. That was a good question, Joe. Can I think a little bit about everyone real quick? And I say 5 seconds. I'll start now.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go next with Bryce. One thing I know about Bryce is he is studying and he wants to be a pilot. So he's working a lot with aircrafting, and once again, another smart individual. I know Bryce is dedicated to his school too. That's one thing I know about him and his work. Do you want me to say something about me? In case y'all don't know me? I'll skip me.
Oh, yeah, so one of 12.
One thing I know about Juan is 1 of 12, yeah. One thing I know about Juan, I know he's 34. I didn't know he was that older when I met him, and after getting to know him, he's actually been a mentor, much like yourself, to me. So one thing I know about Juan, he works outside of Vivian as well, like with his hands, which kind of makes more sense with everything. Okay. Roberto, I do know about him that he is very self-motivated. He doesn't really need much people, slapping him on the rear, telling him, hey, go out and get today. He actually has a lot of motivation. That's one thing I do know about Roberto. He's always positive as well. And I said Rudy already. Luis, Mr. Luis, I do know he's been here for a while and is very dedicated to Vivian. He's actually a pretty smart guy. He may stay away a lot from the zinc talk, but if you really get to talk to him, he's very knowledgeable too. He'll always have your back. Corey's one of our transfers came from Chicago. He kind of blended in pretty good. I know it's a huge ball game difference from Chicago and San Antonio, and he's still kind of trying to make the adjustments on that. And I do know Corey to be very involved with to the sense of doing anything he possibly can to make sure the customer is happy. I mean, he has a lot of tins, so I do know he does good customers. Now with Jason, I know Jason, since he's like our returner since second round of here.
Kind of breaking up there.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, and I think Corey, you kind of talked about his work, but what about like personally, just one thing personally about everyone, not about work, right?
Yeah, okay. One thing personal about Corey would be, I know he has a daughter and he works hard to just maintain her happiness. And I know he has a brother in Chicago that he's keeping in contact with a lot. So
Okay.
Was I on Jason? Yeah. Can you hear me, Joe? I mean, am I
Yeah.
good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So Jason, I need to know Jason. He's been with the security system for a while, like installing them. Not with Vivint, but I mean with Vivint as well. But he comes from a good background. He's just got his licensing to be a nurse. I know that. So he is um, looking for a bigger picture. But that's a great question. I'm just thinking too while I'm talking, Joe. Sorry.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna I'm gonna move on to David. One thing I do know about David, he just graduated. He comes from Mason. He's a pretty good hard worker. And then again, I go to work. I'm sorry. Outside of David, he did go to the state championship for high school football and got a state title on that. So puncher strong on that. Derek, I know Derek's a good individual. One thing I know about him, he likes to stay active on the weekends, from paintballing to barbecuing and doing whatever. Colorful person. He had a lot to say. Julio just came in. He's Michael's brother-in-law. So he came in with Vivint, and I do know he just had a daughter. So I can see if anything's kind of slacking with that, he's staying focused to his new family right now. So he has a new family. That's the one thing I know about Julio. And then Christopher is our last one. To tell you the truth, I haven't talked much to Christopher since he got here. Everyone's been kind of busy, which that's all on me. I should make a change on that. I do know he is knowledgeable for everything that he does here, and he seems to have his priorities too.
Okay. What about Jason?
Did you want me to go? What about, yeah, Jason? Let me go back to Jason. So one thing I do know about Jason, I mean, there's a lot of things I don't. I know he's involved with Boy Scouts a lot with this child. I mean, not his child. He has a daughter, but she's not in Boy Scouts. But he came from a background of Boy Scouts, Webelos. So he loves nature. He likes the camping. He likes the fishing, all that stuff.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that.
Thanks for challenging me.
If I ask your teammates, how many of them would say they speak to you often?
If you ask every 12 of our individuals, like daily, you want to do daily or week? So I'll speak to usually Michael, Rudy, Corey, Derek, David, and Julio, if not on a daily basis, a weekly basis. And I'd call Bryce every now and then. He seems to be a busy individual right now, whether it be on or off the clock. So I just try to stay focused on more of who's open at the time. But I do keep in contact with Bryce, for technical situations. Of course, I talk to Juan every day, either through Zinc or text. Roberto, I'll talk to Roberto maybe every 2-3 weeks, if that. He seems to me to be a strong one I need to come in more contact with or communicate with better. Him and Luis, actually. I talk to Jason at least once a week. And Chris, I need to get talking to him. I saw him at a convenience store actually 2 days ago, and that was the third time that I met him. So I need to come in contact more with Chris.
Okay. All right. My last question for right now is when you have, a lot of things on your plate, a lot of things going on, not necessarily enough time to do everything. How do you handle that? And do you have a specific example?
So okay. So if I don't have a lot of times to handle things, I mean, obviously you have to make time. I mean, there's no putting it on a back burner or anything. You either do it within that time period or it's going to be forgotten. So a good example would be a recent one, putting together this presentation. I don't know, this is my first presentation for this kind of situation. So this took about 3 days after working on it. So I had to learn to implement that with, to go more in depth to it, helping my wife take her test for a licensing that she needs, and along with helping both my brothers get their foot on the right track. You know, one fixing to join the Marines and the other one getting his life back together. So you just have to make time for everything. You have to take a deep breath. If something goes rush, it's going to show that it was rush, and most of the time it's not going to make sense. It's going to look like it was just thrown together. I don't really like, you know, presenting stuff like that or anything to do with that nature. So just take deep breaths back. Sometimes you make a phone call to someone, just change the subject a little bit, get your mind off of it. For example, when I talked to Joe last week when I was having a horrible day, just something to get me, all I need, anybody needs just something different to get them back on the right track, even if it's just a laugh from someone else.
Okay.
Did that answer your question, Joe?
Sure. I mean, it's your answer.
Okay.
All right. Tommy, are you in a place you can ask questions?
Yeah, no, I am. I was actually, I was typing some notes. I had caught some notes from the last two questions you asked, and I was actually just typing, and I think my hand took me to a different bullet, and I started typing in a different bullet. So I'm editing that up a little bit real quick on that last answer that you had there. And
yes, sir.
1 second, and then I will begin on my questions. Let me just finish that part real quick.
Yep, no problem. So just real quick, Emilio, I just want to, I know I'd asked you, if I asked your teammates how many of them would say you speak, you said Michael, Julio, Corey. Who are the other ones?
Michael, Julio, Corey, Rudy, David, Derek. That's who I speak to usually on a daily basis.
The most often, okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
Oh, and Juan, of course.
Okay. All right.
If you want to go and throw an extra number myself, that would be great.
Pad the stats. Did you have any questions for us right at this time?
No, sir. Not any important ones right now.
Not any important ones? Do you have questions?
Well, I say that. I didn't say that just for the role. I know. I bet myself as soon as I said that. I guess just a couple of questions would be, how important do you think team trainer role is for our team, and how would it implement, like, I guess, get more of a perspective of the job position or the job title? I know you sent out a letter for it. Like, I guess to narrow it down, would there be like a pay increase? Would I still be working over 40 hours and stuff like that? But I didn't want to jump to that because that's why I said I don't know if it was that important right now.
I mean, they're good questions. As far as your first question, how important is a team trainer? It's very important. I mean, it's a very important role. I mean, just like the squad leader roles are very important also. The team trainer is just, the next step. It's essentially going to be an assistant FSM, right? I mean, being able to step in and be that next man up at any time would be kind of an extension of the FSM, which is very important. So it is and to answer your second question, I mean, it will evolve into an official position in Workday. Right now, it's not. It is a position, it's tracked and everything. The trainers or the like Ben Carr and stuff, he tracks who all the team trainers are. There's even certain things in Click that, team trainers get blocked. There's actual team trainer webinars. I think they're once a month or something like that. So it is an actual position, but it will become even more official down the road. And when that does happen, there is the possibility of, pay increases and things like that, being off the schedule more and things like that. But so, yeah, I mean, it is very important, and the position will evolve eventually as we grow as a company, and we need to have, more, especially with the schedule with Best Buy. If San Antonio, or when San Antonio transitions to the new schedules, we will have to have coverage more on the weekends, and the team trainer will be a big part of that. So,
You got to start somewhere, right?
yeah, but it is. I mean, it is a big deal. I mean, a team trainer is very, very important. So, yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I can go from here. Thank you for covering while I move, Joe.
Yeah.
So Emilio, first off,
Yes,
sorry
sir.
about me not being stationary on time. Trying to balance some things, but got to own that. So this is what we do. So apologies for that. But first question,
No
man.
worries.
Who's the lowest person on the last scorecard that you guys got, and what would you do to improve them?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it cut off. Okay, so the lowest person on the scorecard, as of the information I got, can I do? I have the one from Wednesday, but can I actually go back and get the one from yesterday?
Sure. I mean, if you know whoever it was, if you can do it quickly, yeah, that's fine. That works for me.
Okay, well, I'm going to go by what I have. So I have the score metrics from Wednesday, and the lowest one on our scorecard, averaging in at 673, is Christopher, which is our newest SHP here.
Yeah.
And what was the second?
Let's do the second person. We want to start
Okay.
with, because I know he had like literally just started in the field, and
Yeah.
then he had a number of blank spots. So let's go with the person that's been here.
Okay, so we're going to go with Julio Santiago, which is our newest before Chris. What was the second part to that question, Tommy? After who was the lowest one, and what would I do to?
Yeah, what would you do to improve them?
Okay, so Julio was our lowest one, and believe it or not, actually started improving on his rise in metrics yesterday by throwing an install on his DR, which is currently at 50% right now, which is half of his installs are not going through for whatever reason. So we already got him on track. Honestly, yesterday, Joe helped me out and we got an install back on him. His MPS seems to be doing pretty good right now. So he's at 100. SOS is at 2.5, which that's not terrible for Julio. So he hasn't had many return tickets on that. His SIN 30 is at 20%, so we can use some work with that actually with his installs. And his UVI is at 81. So to increase this, I will try to focus what it looks like right now on getting his installs online and finding out why anybody has gone back to his installs. So that goes from offering every piece of equipment. Maybe his walkthroughs could use more help. His workflow even. Maybe even has something new like that, or he's running behind and he's starting to work faster just to pick up the pace to make up for the day. So a good workflow, we'll start from there. He's pre-calling for his installs and leaving notes, so that's not a huge worry right now. So it's actually, I guess, the day of the installs going through. I would focus on, his DRR right now and his SIN 30 to bring him up in the scorecard. And obviously, get that BAMI. Everybody's got to get a BAMI. That's my goal too, to get a BAMI. So the quicker you first ban me, hopefully they just come domino effect after that.
Okay. What would you do with them to improve them?
To do that, I would do on his next install, I would do a ride along and maybe show him how not to lose an install, because that affects your numbers like greatly. So help him do maybe go with him and do a walkthrough with his install, just to coach him on that. Offer every piece of equipment, which I think he's doing, because Michael seemed to be training him pretty good on upgrades. So communication with the customer, like if, for instance, if they want a glass break and you play motion, stuff like that, that could be cause of the return tickets as well. So I would coach him. I would show him maybe a different work habit than what he's used to, because that one doesn't seem to be working right now. And maybe get, if I can't, if he, if my option isn't good for him, give him another option. Maybe get, Bryce or Juan to give him a little recap of their walkthrough, or what they would do at their installs.
Okay. And I'm typing notes as well, so just bear with me if you end up getting a little break at the end of your sentences and answers. Okay.
The phone didn't cut off.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm on the phone and I'm on the computer. So if I got to get on the computer, I'll just hurry up and jump on and log back on. Okay. Next one. Who have you reached out to better and improve, to get better and improve personally and professionally? And this could be within the team. It could be anybody, anywhere, whatever. Just who have you reached out to get better and improve personally and professionally?
I could start. I'll give you two examples. How about that? This week, I actually reached out to Derek 2 days ago. He had a service ticket that was like 48 minutes. He called me. He actually reached out to me, but I actually called him back, letting him know a solution to the problem. So he called me. It was only for 48 minutes, and it was for a system move with 3 outdoor cameras and everything. So he automatically off the bat was, anyone's going to probably be a little negative in that situation. So I had to get him on the right track, talk him through, saying, I mean, the quicker you started, because it was still like 9:30 a.m. So he had the whole day ahead of him. So I talked to him for about, it's just, letting him vent, getting everything off his chest, which wasn't much. It was, I guess, just, little stuff like that was bothering him. So then called him scheduling, got all that fixed up. He ended up going there and finishing that whole move for that day, which was great, because it was almost going to turn into, let me just reschedule it, get it off the schedule, which has just turned into a bigger problem, because the domino effect on that. Now we got to reschedule and all that fun stuff. So we got that solution figured out just by staying positive. So that was one example at work. Outside of work, I just want to use my brother Esteban as, just because he's been the most recent one. He's had some fallbacks since after he left Vivint. So I've been on him pretty much every day after that, trying to get his life back together and get his foot back on the door to start living a normal and healthy life again. So by doing that, I was showing him, daily routines that help him take his mind off things, that help him have a positive attitude. That way, there's no negative things in his life right now.
Okay.
So, in other words, staying positive.
Right. Okay. Reverse follow-up on that. What about for yourself? So who have you reached out to better and improve personally and professionally for yourself? I honestly, I reach out. I've reached out to a couple team members just to see what I could do better, or how they would do the situation. Like
I guess seeing their opinions, but for the most part, I usually, for support and needing advice, I reach out to my father, just because he's a man with experience, and he's not gonna feed me any BS. He's gonna tell me how it is, and how to fix the situation if I need to. If there's any situation to fix, how to better the situation, and how to keep it positive without just losing focus of everything. And I also have reached out. I wouldn't say reach out, but I've called Joe a couple of times just for guidance. I mean, he's a huge mentor for me as well. I'm not just saying that just because he's my FSM. I'm saying that because, I mean, that's what he does. That's what he's good at least with me. So that's another person that I've actually reached out to for support and to better myself.
Okay. What motivates you, and what are your true passions?
What motivates me is being successful. I mean, that doesn't come just from money. That just comes with being good at what you do and what you represent. That keeps me motivated. That I don't know how to explain it, but just waking up every day knowing that you have a plan, you have a career, a job, people around you. That kind of gets me motivated a whole lot. What was the second part of that question, Tommy?
True passions.
True passions. I don't know if one of my true passions would be like just when something goes absolutely right in your favor. I don't know if that has to do with passions, but would that be anything like from sports to work or anything like that? Like when you say passion?
Yeah, it could be whatever your true passions are. If your true passion is bacon, then that's your true passion.
Well, since I was little, one of my true passion would be like I always wanted to be a baseball coach. I feel like I could, because I was a good baseball player, so I feel like I could just give them hints or tricks of how to make themselves better and do better at the game. So I kind of take that into my workflow too, because I mean, growing up, it was nothing but work for me. Just I was the oldest child, my dad. So him just showing me that true passion of what you can do with your own two hands and positive mindset. I mean, that's where it's at for me. So to add on to that, another true passion of mine, or just a passion in general, is just loving life and don't take every day for granted. You never know what's going to happen. You got to just grab life and by the horns and then steer it. You know what I mean? You live in the world you create.
I like that little last quote you said. You live in the life you create. Like that. Okay.
Yes, sir. I try to live by that daily.
Hey, that's a good one to live by, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. What will be your strategy that makes you become the leader that gets followed versus or compared to the leader that just gives the orders?
Well, the leader that gets followed, you would actually, you can't just really force things on people and expect them to make changes, because, for instance, like that's exactly how I am. The more you're forced on things, the less people want to do it. So in order to see changes, you need to just show them the ending result of what it could be and how would the process to get there. I mean, it's a simple process if you let it be simple. You start making problems, it's just going to be a headache and a pain. Do you mind repeating the second part of that, Tommy?
Yes. So it was what will be your strategy that makes you become that leader that gets followed?
Oh, yeah.
Compared to just giving the orders.
So yeah. So if you're a leader just giving orders, I think in y'all's position, y'all know too, you're not going to get much results. You got to be involved, and I guess it's all in the way you present things and how you word things. So just show them that having a positive mindset, you can pretty much do whatever you want, and on top of that, excel at what you're doing. For instance, if it's work, you know, the metrics are gonna, numbers are gonna show themselves.
Okay, thank you. Name as many of the Vivint values as you can.
Okay. The Vivint values are, oh man, I'm going to start with expectations. Now, I may be off on the wording, but I mean, I know what they stand for. So the Vivint values that we just go with, I mean, I like the customer service part, the expectations, positive mindset. I'm sorry, Tom. That I can't really put focus on that right now. My brain went blank.
All good, all good. It's one of those monkey wrench questions that is.
Yes, sir. And I missed that one. I thought I studied everything.
Hey, you can always be prepared when you come into one with me.
Yes, sir. I mean that's yeah.
There will be at least one
monkey
monkey wrench always. All right.
I can't guarantee, though, I will know the answer to that question next time you ask it.
I can guarantee that too. What will be your strategy to keep everyone reminded of the care portion? I did this last time, Joe. I'm gonna back up. What is code?
Code? Code
Yes.
is it's yeah. There's that monkey wrench. I mean, I know what it is, Tommy, but code's gonna be, oh, man.
I gave you one of them in the half of question that I was about to ask you. But I know you already forgot it.
I know it's owning. Yeah.
You don't even
Man.
know what the half a question I just said because you're thinking about what code is.
Yes, sir.
Care, own, deliver, exceed.
See, I got my D. Yes, sir. Care, own, deliver, and exceed.
All right. So, what will be your strategy to keep everyone reminded of the care portion of code in the midst of all of the things that could go on in the company? You've been here long enough. You've been here twice. You know that there's things, there's changes. We evolve, we grow. You know how things changed from when you were here the first time and when you came back, and when you got back, things were all different. How do you, with all of that goes on, all of the daily, weekly, monthly, yearly changes that we do as an innovative company, what will be your strategy to keep everyone reminded of the care portion of what we do in the midst of all of what goes on in the company?
Well, to keep everybody reminded of the care version of that, first of all, we obviously want to stay focused on positive and positive days. So with that, I would implement the reason why we're working, why we do the things we do. And now we're in a huge company right now, just delivering security. So picture someone coming to your house and doing the quality of work we do. Would you want to call them back or keep paying the company, or were you going to just end up hating the person and leaving a bad scorecard? So to avoid all that, you want to just stay on a positive page, Let them know the end results, which is it could be, upgrades, NPS scores, getting noticed or shout outs on Zinc. All that little stuff motivates people. I know it motivated me. So show them the end prize, and that if you stay, focused on the end result, there can be no room for negativity. I know there is going to be negativity. You just have to find ways to veer away from that and show them that you stay negative, you're going to be showing negative results because that's all you're going to be focused on. So just showing them the upside of everything we do and why we keep doing it. And, that's the definition of care right there. So, I would, if it comes down to just keep sending positive messages on Zinc, or if I have to even call, I wouldn't email in those certain situations. I would just, get one-on-one with the person and show them that caring is sharing, guys.
Okay. All right. What would you do if you're coaching someone on how to change some things, and they confront you with pushback?
Well, if they confront me with pushback, you just, I guess, find the reason why they're actually pushing back, because it's not just because they don't want to do it. There's probably a bigger reason to why, as in either them not wanting to do it your way or the company's way versus how they think it should be done, and show them, compliance, show them facts of why it needs to be done this way, and if it's not done this way, there will be repercussions. Not in a negative way either. I'm saying like, let me see. I got off topic there. So, and I wrote it down, but can you ask that one more time, Tommy, please?
Yeah, I said, what would you do if you're coaching someone on how to change things and they confront you with pushback?
Okay, and then to answer the second part of that question, if they do confront me with pushback, obviously you don't take it personal. It's not your fault. The reason they're being towards that way. So you obviously get back into the coaching and find a way that they can actually be positive about the change, and therefore will eliminate the pushback. Communicate with them, show them the reason behind the change and why it's changing, and the benefit of the change for you and the company, or for whatever the situation is.
Okay. Last question before I ask just a little bit into your 30, 60, 90, but why do we need you in this position?
Well, myself, you need me in this position just because I feel like I can bring all the things we lack when we're training SHP. For instance, get more detailed into the whys. Like I know Julio and David seem to be having little problems, with certain little scenarios that probably didn't get talked about, on paper, for instance. So I feel like with my experience of knowing not every ticket that's out there, because I've seen a lot of them. There's some crazy ones, but showing them, outside the manual, for instance, like resetting your takeover. You have to, take the power cord out and replug it back in just to gain power from the outlet, not the battery. Little stuff like that people really don't put main focus on when they're training or talking about anything that I've noticed. So little things like that.
Okay.
Plus, I'm sorry, Tommy, to interrupt you, but
No, you're
Plus,
good.
I know I'm not always a positive person. There are some setbacks, but I know that I can stay positive when needed, as always, because, I mean, I just love being a positive person. I felt like in my whole life it's worked for my advantage, and it has benefited me greatly. So just stay positive, too. Um, you know, the more you present things, and it's honestly in the way that you're showing them to tailor every explanation and every ticket, every, you know, garage door controller, every door lock. You got to find out how they're comfortable with installing it, and, you know, getting that route and to the final solution of where's, you know, no return tickets on an install and stuff like that. I feel like all that could avoid that if they're just comfortable with what they're doing and they know the reason behind they're doing it, not just because the manual says to do it this way.
Sorry, now you get to hear some of my pecking because I didn't mute it. Okay.
You're good. That just means you're working.
This means I can prove that I can type just a little bit. Okay. So
30, 60, 90?
Your 30, 60, 90. Some of the questions that I have for it, I like the 30, 60, 90. I like the detail that you put into it. Thank you for doing that. This is a lot of detail that you put into this. Some kind of direct questions and comparison questions I have for it. Are these things that you have been doing one with yourself and your performance, and likewise with your squad as well already? Have you already been doing these types of things, implementing these types of things and actions?
To be completely honest with you, Tommy, yes and no. Yes, in the fact that I feel like I have done these things to an extent. No being, for instance, talking to Joe and you know, him, I honestly wanted to know what the qualifications were and why I didn't, you know, I wasn't a good contender. He never said that. I'm speaking for myself. Why I wasn't a good contender for the FSM role. So, and a huge thing would be like recap and survey emails. Now, I know we're supposed to do these like on the ride-alongs and all that, but I never implemented them in a daily routine or a daily conversation or anything. To be honest, I knew they were important, but never as crucial as like to take it as a learning experience. So I haven't been doing that, and as soon as he said that, I started doing it, not to show that I wanted the position or anything, but actually to better myself and to better my team. Because obviously, I mean, you can learn a lot from it, and I didn't know that until I actually started learning from it. So that's something that I haven't implemented, and that starting this day out, regardless of what position I have, I will be implementing that, because bottom line, I am a squad leader, and that's what it comes down to. So if the trainer, the FSM can do the job, it's my job to do the job. So I will be taking all this, you know, starting day one right now. So, and I have been doing like keeping good communication skills. I know I've been doing that. I try to do that daily. The areas of weakness, now I'm starting to slowly figure out, you know, everyone's struggles. The more you dig into it and the more the reason behind these things is, there's always a reason behind it. Obviously, it's not just because you don't get it. It's because you're either doing your way, or you're just not looking, you know, at certain detailed things. I try to keep everyone, you know, on the same path with keeping a clean vehicle. It's kind of hard because you go into almost telling them every time you see them, like, hey, your truck, I mean, something needs to be done. I know my truck is never like that. So I try to do that daily, and they do keep in contact with me about, you know, the reason why behind everything. So let me look at this. Another thing that my action plans, let me see. So I do try to show a form of improvement within myself, and I try to show my squad. But to be honest, it goes back to where that question you were saying, leading by example, or just giving out information. And I've learned to you know put difference in those two and reword my things, because when I first got the position, I was just like, you need to do this, 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 with no response. Nobody really cared. Nobody read, because you're just almost like you're lecturing them. So the way you reword it, and then just reaching out to them like as a team player, as a friend, I feel like that's going to benefit us a whole lot more than just saying these are your expectations. You don't get them, there's going to be problems.
So you're learning to finesse it, is what you're saying.
Yes, sir. And I really didn't think that it comes with experience or listening, but I thought it was just given to you. It's not. It's not. You have to dig into everything and actually find the reason behind it, why it's happening, and there's just a whole lot more to it that a lot of people don't really understand unless they want to understand. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely. So, follow-up. Why not already be doing these things, or ask for the understanding if this is a big part of the things that you have said in this plan and throughout this interview? Understanding has been a very key thing, and it's a very important theme, and I appreciate the fact that it is being mentioned so much and is talked about so much. So for my understanding, help me understand that. Why not already be doing those things if this is part of your mentality, part of your mindset? Why not already be doing those things for like you said, yourself and your squad? Or like you said, well, I didn't really understand the impact. I didn't understand the development, things like that, how you can learn from it. Why not ask if we put those things out to do or say or whatever, and we go over it, and you still don't really understand the why behind it, as you say, is very important to know. Why not ask?
And my reason behind that, and it's no excuse, but I don't know. I feel like some questions I ask that really don't need to be asked, I guess. I mean, why not do that daily is there's no reason behind it. I should be doing that, and I never knew that, once you ask a question, you'll get an answer, not just, try to figure out a solution to that answer, which I was doing. I thought I could just do it my way and see how it goes from there, which doesn't work one bit. You have to, stay focused on everything and ask the questions. So I wasn't asking, I guess, just because I wasn't understanding. So now that I fully understand the whole action plan of what, not just the team trainer, but, everybody's role at Biffen, it's a lot easier for me to ask these questions and to implement them.
Okay. All right. Those are all my questions that I have. Those are all the questions I have. Joe, do you have any other questions you thought of possibly that came up in the middle?
Not any different ones, I guess. I guess honestly, I kind of, with Tommy asking these questions and, how you're answering them, and, that you didn't know some things or didn't understand that things are important or how to do things. I mean, I personally feel like, both of us, Tommy and I, have, pushed you guys and questioned and explained, what we need to do and how we need to do things over the, since I would say November, since you've been a squad leader. So, it's, I mean, I understand where you're coming from and how, and I understand the thought process sometimes we have of, I'm not the team trainer or I'm not the FSM. So, why should I really be involved, or what's the point of really doing this or that? Or really, I know sometimes those thoughts might creep in. But, we said from the beginning, the squad leader is kind of a leadership role in a position that, it's for you to grow and an opportunity to kind of show what, you can do and how you can help the team and stuff like that. And I feel like we've been very detailed and very specific in what we've said and instructions and advice and guidance. So to be totally honest with you, I mean, I'm still wondering, my question is, well, why is it taking so long? Right? Why is it taking so long to understand what is important and, what things to focus on and, I mean, it's been since what, 5, 6, 7 months. And you're telling us you're now kind of understanding the importance of some of these things, which we've gone over, recapping everything for, I mean, it's been forever. So I guess I'm still kind of confused with that. It's a struggle for me to understand, why it's taking so long for you to, it's like the position's now, you're not actually now applying for something. So now you're getting, you're trying to gain understanding and figure things out and understand what you need to do. I mean, that's kind of, it's kind of day one. It's kind of day one stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
So I guess I'm just wondering what's taking so long.
Well, there's no actual reasonable answer for that. The only thing I can say is I was just focusing on my metrics and everything else beforehand and wanting to do myself better before everything else, which is no excuse or no anything. But I mean, there's a lot of, I don't know. So Vivint changes information, daily, which is kind of what I like about them. So if you're not on board, like, you're going to be doing exactly what I'm doing, is getting left behind where everyone's going up. And it may have taken me 5 months or however long to realize that. But I don't know. With this role, I feel like I could kind of like get that message out to people that it's not just about the metrics or the numbers. It's actually reasoning behind everything. And honestly, Joe, there's no excuse why it's taking me so long. That's my own personal fault.
Yeah, and again, and even what you just said right there, where you can get an understanding of that it's not about the metrics and it's about the why behind what we're doing. And again, that message has been preached and taught for years. I mean, so I'm not trying to like push you or like
No,
I'm
yeah,
not trying to like, but I'm just it's I mean, we've been saying these things, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that we have been detailed in these things. I mean, if we have not, I mean, you can say, I've never heard of this or you've never said this or that, but I feel like as a team, I mean, this has been years. We've been talking about, the why behind the metrics and focusing on, what we're actually doing with customers and not even focusing on a number or a metric or whatever. Of course, we send it out, but so, I mean, again, I feel like this has been quite a long time that we've been discussing all of these things. And it's been a good 7 months, I would say, that you've been a squad leader. And, I understand the mentality of I want to, get myself better first before I help someone else. But you also can't, when you're in that role, I mean, when you're in a leadership type position or role, I mean, you can't just let that go, So,
but have I? Well, I guess to be completely honest, have I showed any lack of interest or anything? I mean, or my knowledge on anything, just for my personal reasons to see what I can get better on?
lack of interest? No.
Not okay. That's good then.
I mean, your question is your lack of interest? No, I don't think that. I do think, like I said, I mean, we've been discussing a lot of things with you guys, pushing you and giving you specific direction of, hey, this is what we need you to do. This is how we need you to do it. And it might happen for a day or two, and then it just drops off again, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the reason behind that too. And I don't know if it's just with me or everyone, but people like to see change, right? So when one person's just doing it and no one jumps on board, I know that's not my excuse at all, Joe, at all. I'm trying to figure out how to answer that question because it's a very good question. But not getting everyone on board to go with the same thing or anything and having these people fall back and this person doing that and all that, that kind of puts a huge damper on your daily focus too and what you're trying, the big picture. So then at that point, I guess people just start trying to just do their own thing, and then that's where, remember when I was talking about like everyone veering away from the team and all that? That's kind of what I was trying to say, well, bringing everybody back together. And that's the main start of it right there.
Right. Like Tommy said, and he asked the question, what have you been doing to do those things already for the last 7 months with your squad? How have you brought your squad together to be, you know what I mean?
Yes,
so not after you get a different position, but what have you been doing right now? I'm not trying to get in an argument with you. I'm really not.
No,
I'm just asking the question. So.
Oh yeah, no, ask away. Well, I've been just keeping in contact with them. That if you want to say the bare minimum, because that's what I've been doing, calling them, seeing what's going on with the day, making sure daily functions get done, just stuff like that.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's just some of my thought process and just some questions I have going around.
No, that's great. Yes, sir. That's where you're at. Where you're at.
So, other than that, no, I think I'm good, Tommy, on my end. Did you have any other questions, Emilio, for us, or anything you've thought of that you wanted to, we'll kind of give you the last, if you have any last thoughts or comments that you wanted to say or discuss or bring up that we should know about or hear?
No, sir. I mean, the only thing I wanted to leave with was what you told me, about anybody even applying for the FSM role. Just even though nothing really, even if my past hasn't shown that I will be great at this or excel at it, I feel like once you put me, and I know the squad leader, I want to kind of focus on that too. If you put me out there, and I know my responsibilities, I know I can guarantee you that somewhat of success or something coming out of it versus just throwing information out. And that's what I want to be left with. I also just both of y'all for giving me this huge opportunity, even for this interview. Because, I mean, obviously I'm learning a lot with this interview too, even though y'all are trying to learn about me. I'm actually learning a lot about everything too. So taking this as a learning experience as well.
Yep.
And y'all have been very clear about expectations and everything. So honestly, I have no other questions with that.
Okay. All right. Well, we want to thank you too for taking the time to, have the interview and put together your 30, 60, 90 and go through it and answer some, tough questions and have some good answers and stuff like that. So I want to thank you for that too. Tommy, did you have anything or are you good?
I'm pretty much good. Just to follow up on what Emilio said, man. Yeah, man, it's a learning experience for everyone. Us doing these, Joe and I had already talked about it, and just as you said, man, things have to be planned out and then executed. And us talking about this and getting this together, and just this discussion of the team trainer position. For your team, it's been a discussion that Joe and I, and even John and I have had conversations about multiple times and discussed and talked about, and planned, and thought out, and how we're going about these and what we're doing, and the conversations before, the conversations during, whatever comes from after. It's all part of what has to be a plan that gets executed and followed through with. And as you said, we're learning things from each of you as we go through these interviews. We're learning what you're bringing to the table. We're learning what things some of you guys may have to grow on, that we have to learn as well of what we do, because if you guys have things to learn, we have things to teach you. We have things to lead you on. We have things to develop you with and get you experience on, or to allow you to show things that you know or can do, or whatever the case may be. So it's always a double-edged sword.
Yes, sir.
And so we thank you for what you brought to the table, what you will continue to bring to the table, what you have allowed your eyes to be opened on, and what you can soak up from this and learn from it. As you said, it's a learning experience for you also. The one thing that I can say is that this isn't some gimme. This isn't a getting the interview and doing stuff like that just because. That's something that has been very clearly stated and shared with Joe as well, and shared with everyone. When it comes to doing things like this, it's no game at all. It is very intense. It's very serious, and we come extremely prepared, because that's the passion, and our team, our family, what we do, our careers. That's some of our passions as well. So we're passionate about this. We're passionate about the decisions we're going to have to make for not only for us, not only for the customers or for Vivint, but for the team as well, because it's a very difficult decision, and it's a very large decision that you have to live with. As you said, you live with the life you build and live. There it is. We got to live with that decision. Mm-hmm. We have to live with whoever that team trainer will be. We have to live with whoever that FSM will be. And that all will stem from a leadership decision that we make. So we thank you for what you've put forth on this, man, and we will continue doing what we got to do, and we'll come out on top in the end, no matter what.
Yes, sir. It's the only option.
Absolutely.
Yep. All right. Sounds good. Thanks again, Emilio and Tommy, for getting on this call. I know, Emilio, you have some jobs, so you need to get to them. So we will end this call now, and
yes, sir.
We'll be looking to make a decision here pretty soon. But again, just thanks for taking the time and putting this all together. So.
Yes, sir. Thank you all as well.
Yep. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Y'all too. I'll talk to y'all later on.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Tommy.